Friends, good morning. This morning I'm going to talk about the subject of operating from a place of disadvantage. And maybe some of you are in this place at the moment. It seems like the things which you are you are struggling with in your life, or maybe even some people, and you have been placed in a place of disadvantage. Somehow it happens in life. Here in 1 Kings 18, there is a story of this man of God, Elijah, and he is called by God to into a great confrontation, and he is outnumbered. There are prophets of Baal under King Ahab and Jezebel, and they are totally opposed to him, but God is with him. However, he is placed in a place where he has to fight this battle alone, and he has to deliver. Now, when I see this story, and Elijah was bold in this story, and he is sent by God into this situation. And here, when he begins this confrontation, in 1 Kings 18, verse 25, then Elijah said to the prophets of Baal, "You go first, for there are many of you." Now this is what I want to focus on. You go first, and there are many of you. And Elijah could recognize this situation, and he was able to say, okay, you take the first turn. The temptation often is, when I am placed in a situation of disadvantage, that somehow get the foothold or get the focus on the disadvantage. But Elijah works the opposite way. It's not the way of the natural man, it's the way of the spiritual man. Okay, you go first. Something similar happened in the life of Abraham. You remember when in the book of Genesis, Abraham needed to divide the land with Lot, and Abraham says to Lot, despite having the rights to make the choice himself, he says, okay, you go first. You choose the land which you want to, and whatever remains, I will take it. And this is amazing that these men chose to operate from the place of disadvantage. I'd like to say something about our hard times and troubles which we face in life. Yesterday I was hearing a motivational speaker, and he mentioned something amazing. He said, one of the problems in the way most people see life is that they expect the life to be easy. And this is very interesting, because he says, who says life is supposed to be easy? And we often set up we learn a wrong expectation. And a lot of times when people expect the life to be easy, if people expect no stumbling blocks, when the real stumbling blocks come, and the reality is that the life is not easy. Life is great, but it's not meant to be easy. Difficulties come, hard times come. So, one of the things, or even the issue of suffering, does God allow suffering? And since He allows suffering, does it make Him a not so good God? And the answer here is the answer, and please mark this. Heroes are born out of hard things. Greatness requires hard times. Read about lives of some of the greatest people in history, and you will find out that it is in the anvil and hammer of times, and I would say under the anvil and hammer of God, are the truly great people are born. When we stumble along, when we come to a place where there are hard things which we need to face, we have to stand in a place of disadvantage. That's where character is formed. That's where the inner metal in us is developed. And this is an amazing thing. If you remember the story from the Bible, when Christ was taken to the cross, you find this. He chose not to react. He chose when his disciples used the sword to cut one of the arrester's ears, Jesus rebuked him. When Pilate was interrogating him, Jesus refused to give a counter argument. He had a lot of counter argument. He could have presented all those people whom he had healed. He could have presented people who were touched by his life and character, but he never did it. He never announced that for the next 2000 years, my personality, my character is going to change thousands and millions of lives. He never counter argued. He just stood his ground. So, what do we do in the times? How do we live when we are at a place of disadvantage? Four things I have to give you very quickly, and I'll close this video. Number one, trust God. God is in control. God doesn't make mistakes, and God is for you. Everything is going in a certain direction. Instead of moaning and panting over what's going on in life, we ought to see the hand of God. Instead of focusing on our disadvantage, we need to look at what is this disadvantage challenging me to learn. The second one is expect greatness. Expect greatness. We are God's children. Our life is planned by God, and no life on the face of this earth is designed for mediocrity. We ought to expect greatness. The third one is focus into inner work. Focus into character formation. You may not be able to bring results at the moment, but character is important. The fourth one is find opportunity to help others. We are always able to help somebody despite whatever situation we are in. A couple of years back, I was in a very, very tough moment. It was a real crisis, and I had a few friends who were advising me to go in a certain direction and take a certain kind of help. And I prayed to God, and I was seeking. I was desperate, but I had to take a stand in those days. And the stand was not to react to my disadvantage, not to run very quickly to a method of help. Rather, I said to my friends, I said, I will just trust God. I will let God work on this situation, and I will hold on. And trust me, that decision paid. God has been faithful, and there has been unexpected things. There are things happened which I was not expecting, and there are things happened. I was viewing my life in a certain way, and life turned out in another way. And it hasn't been far, but I can not say that what turned out is uh, worse than what I was expecting. So stand in your place of disadvantage and let God work character in you and expect greatness. Have a great day. God bless you.